Hello, everybody. I'm Steve. Most of you know who I am. I am the project director of Honey Bee Watch and organizer of today's cafe. What we wanted to do is offer an informal gathering space for people like yourselves who might be scientists, they might be practitioners of apiculture, naturalists, conservationists, whomever. We wanted to welcome you and provide a platform whereby you could present a talk amongst your peers, and more likely to just sit back and listen to all these different projects that are happening around the world related to free living bees. What we intend to do is share this more widely with people who couldn't attend today, and then edit out each person's talk and package it as a small video, a 10-minute video, so that it's more digestible. And then we'll have each of these topics at the end of the year, both from the cafe as well as from the symposia series, that you can watch Tom Seeley give his presentation about monitoring and the Arnott Forest. Or today we have Paul Honigmann, who's going to be talking about finding bees in a village in Oxfordshire. And then Nichol is talking about a research study linking humidity with bees as she's exploring free-living bees in Bermuda. And then Jack in Portugal is going to talk about cork hives and perhaps an interesting project that is about ecosystems and bees being part of a larger infrastructure in nature. So yeah, this is just very informal. We have these scheduled for today, August 17th, October 19th, November 16th. These are the months where we don't have the symposia series. Those are going to be in September and December. So join us every month if you want. And with that, I think that that's it. That's my introduction. So if you can lower your hand, Nichol.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. There we go.
And then I'm going to mute everybody and I'm going to let you take the floor. And I'm going to start you with 10 minutes. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Introduce yourself, please.
I am Nichol Ruth Piniak. I reside in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. It's unusual here. There's not a great deal going on in terms of natural beekeeping. It's a very difficult region to keep bees. Some of you may be familiar with British Columbia, which is closer to the ocean, has more going for it in terms of forage and humidity. But here in my area, we are almost in a way like a bit like a desert, and we're becoming even drier. And many of you may know we have very long, cold winters, and dryness is a huge problem here. So I'm just gonna, I'm a little nervous because I don't do this very often. So I'm just gonna share my screen, and that'll help to tell the story. Okay, so now where did my arrows go?
I think that if you drag your cursor to the left or right of the screen, you can just click and advance left and right. You want to try that?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. There we go. Okay. So I'm now. Many of you may wonder why I'm going to talk about Bermuda. It is because there are things going on here which led to some of my curiosities and interests, but we're not really a good region for keeping bees. We are much like the States. They are used primarily as an agricultural animal. They're heavily farmed for honey. And of course, there are many bee breeders who sell bees. A lot of our bees in this region are package bees, and they don't overwinter very well because our conditions are far from optimal. So a few years ago, my partner secured a job working for a company based out of Bermuda. And when the COVID protocols relaxed and I was able to travel with her, my first trip there, I immediately was attracted to the climate. I recognized it was beautiful. It was humid. There was a lot of food for bees there. So I started nosing around and trying to connect with the bee community. It was a little difficult because Bermuda is very small, and because of the size and the close connections between people, I think this leads to a little hesitation to discuss things openly with people, but I persisted. And towards the end of that first trip, I was able to speak with the agricultural officer, who really is the gatekeeper for anything and everything that happens on the Isle of Bermuda. They have to be very careful because of the small size. They are only 53.2 kilometers squared, and that is the entire land mass. And so once we started talking, and I came home, I started to do more research and contrast some of the problems that we have in my dry climate versus what I felt was rather perfect over in Bermuda. And so back here at home in Canada, I very much wanted to start writing my ideas. And a friend by the name of Ron Mickshaw, he keeps an older bee blog. He's well known in my city. He has a lot of commercial beekeeping experience, and now as an older, mature man, he teaches bee ecology at a university here, and he's well written. And he said to me, in order to write the things that I wanted to, that I would need to return to Bermuda and perhaps do some gene testing of the bees there in order to rule out things like the possibility of Africanized genes, which might suggest that the bees were somehow at a advantage over more common bee species. So I didn't like hearing that, because it meant that I would be delayed saying anything at all. But I went back earlier this year in February, and with the help of the agricultural officer, Tommy Sinclair, we went around and organized some bee collections, and I brought those back here to Canada, sent them off to a lab, and verified that there are no African genes residing on the Isle of Bermuda. I suppose a change in genetics can happen at any time, but it's quite unlikely in a place like Bermuda, because they do not import or export any bee products whatsoever. And that one point was the most amazing of all to me, because if you dig around online, you will see that they have not allowed anything to enter Bermuda. I think it's 2007 or 2009. In 2009, I think they allowed 3 to 5 queens. They disposed of the attendants, and that was the last time Bermuda had any live bee products onto the island. And so in order for beekeepers to do anything at all there, they must graft their own queens and do their splits. They have to really know how to run their operation in order to sustain things. So let's just look at my photos here. And this is a beautiful bee tree. There are lots of feral hives residing on Bermuda. And Bermuda is actually entirely limestone. And if you walk around, you will see that if you can see my cursor, all of the brick structures are mined directly from the lime that exists on the landmass. And so there are lots of wild bee trees. Tommy Sinclair treated me to a tour of bee trees and limestone cavities that are both man-made and natural. This image right here is called the Sears Cave. And unfortunately, you can't see the bees, but the bees were entering somewhere in this vicinity. And the reason I wasn't able to get closer and show you actual proof of bees is because this cavern, again called Sears Cave, is a protected site. There are biologists who are nurturing a rare type of fern. And once they realized they were able to establish it here with the specific humidity and conditions, this entire region became, well, it was the parcel of land was gifted to the Audubon Society there, and they fenced it off. And I dug up a contact for the lady who oversees the Audubon Society, and she permitted me access, and I got close enough to at least go in and witness these wild bees living there. And I think from what I've read online, it seems that they've been there a good number of years, maybe 10 or more years.
I just want to give you a 2-minute warning.
Okay, thank you. This is a little cavity in a region called Spittle Pond. This is the same nest with a second entrance. This is Tommy Sinclair, who I followed around viewing these feral nests. I was a little sad after I returned home because it seems that exposure to the Spittle Pond hive brought out of the rafters a beekeeper who then went in after my visit there this past spring and tried to poach the hive. So this is where the hive was, and they have gouged it all out. Here it is close up. And then Tommy did me to mend my heart back here in Canada. He went and had a look and discovered that the rather new beekeeper was unsuccessful luring the bees over. And so he tucked it all back together with various rocks, made an entrance, and you can see here it has made a good recovery. My bee specimens, which I brought back to Canada. This is bee rock over in Hungary, and these rock caverns are protected sites. And I started linking some of these historical sites to, here you can, it's called Beehive Stone, and I encourage encourage you to go and read about it. And I started linking these historical sites and some of the natural sites on Bermuda to what's available to bees here, which is not much. This is a modern column. This represents something that bees are actually able to build and sustain health in here in my region. And I don't like this, but when it's all you have, I think the bees will take it. And here's what was inside. This column was housing a colony of bees. These combs were 6.5 feet long. And these bees were living in this one location for 8 years. No one was able to drive them out. And then along came me. I explained to the homeowner that we had to demolish all the bricks, and I helped him do it. And then I transferred the colony over. It did manage to live one winter, but my region has such a short season, it's virtually impossible. So extracted bees are essentially dead bees. And so what I've been doing in the meantime is trying to take these things which all seem to be connected, and try to build what might represent something that bees could just simply live in, and then create this humidity that they lack in my region. And I'm really sorry that I think I've done a really poor job of linking my photos, and I had to rush there. So what this is a
Nichol,
lime-based recipe. Yes,
can you conclude?
I can. This is my last image. It's experimental hive design. This is a lime-based recipe. There is no Portland cement in it, and which is why I asked Paul about the possibility of lime mortar, because I think there might be a connection between lime, sedimentary rock, and bee health. And we'll just leave it there, and hopefully some questions flush out anything I've missed. Thank you.
Thank you, Nichol.
Yes.
And what she did not talk about is the hive designs that she's already created and written about in Natural Bee Husbandry. So Nichol is a very curious person and is really kind of driven by better understanding the bees and humidity and better housing, etc.